The main news story we have is that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is officially opening on June 28th. And they made the announcement I don't think they meant to make the announcement when they made it. I think they were trying to do something different.
They put out a like a little blurb everywhere that said that the major announcement is coming to American Idol tonight, and I think that was on Mother's Day, and everyone's like, okay, it's Tiana, because all the art that was with it said Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I'm like, oh, they're gonna announce when it's opening. So we're like, okay, great. 2 hours later, an hour later maybe, the press release was released on Walt Disney World News that was saying, oh, it's going to open on June 28th. We're like, oh, okay. So don't watch American Idol. Like, it was weird. So that was up for a little bit. Then they took it down. So either it's an accident, or maybe they put it up at 9 a.m. instead of 9 p.m.
That's still an accident.
Still an accident. Still an accident. But anyway.
I think they somebody came in and go, you ruined the synergy.
No.
They're like, what?
It's just funny, like, when that happens. But anyway, that night after American Idol and everything, they released the information, June 28th.
It was such a synergy. They used that word. Somebody used it too, like a synergistic approach. I'm like, that was such a buzzword in like the early 2000s. Terrible word.
Here's what Disney is saying about the ride. It says, the ride will take guests on a musical adventure picking up after the events of Walt Disney Animation Studios' film The Princess and the Frog. You'll join Princess Tiana on an adventure through the bayou as she prepares to host a one-of-a-kind celebration during Mardi Gras season where everyone is welcome. Along the way, you will see some familiar faces, make new friends, and travel through the bayou and to the next chapter of Tiana's story. Tiana's Bayou Adventure will also feature original music and some familiar tunes from the beloved movie and so much more, including an incredibly thrilling 50-foot drop.
What?
So
they added a drop?
I think it's always been there.
Oh.
Beginning June 28th, they will have merchandise based on the movie and the ride and will be available at the Emporium, and then quickly move over to Critter Co-op soon after. And so Critter Co-op, if you're not familiar, they used to have a store like right by the front of Splash Mountain, like right to the right side of where you see the drop come down.
Oh, I was thinking you said right side. I thought you meant the other. Yeah. Okay. It's to the left there with the entrance, but right of the drop.
Yeah. So like I'm sure they still have the gift shop maybe in the back, like where you exit out of it, but that the one will be in front as well. So if it's been closed for a long time.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. But anyway, so that'll be there, and then they have an on-ride photo that'll be available, and they themed it to Tiana's, obviously. Tiana's famous beignets will be available at Golden Oak Outpost in Friar's Nook for a limited time when the ride opens. And during the initial opening, a virtual queue will be utilized along with Genie Plus Lightning Lane. No standby will be available, and it's not using individual Lightning Lane. So
they did say they anticipated shortly after, though, that the event would go to standby. I don't think they're anticipating it being virtual queue very long.
Right. This was just a temporary thing. I think maybe throughout the summer they may keep it. Or I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see the wait times on this, because I've kind of said all along, I think there will be a lot of people obviously that want to ride it because it's new. But then, it's kind of new. It's a theme over of an older ride, so there's not that like mystery about it as much as people just want to see the new, animatronics and the story with it.
Absolutely.
And things like that.
Yeah.
But it is a water ride, which notoriously that doesn't lend itself to like some people just don't want to get wet,
right?
Myself included. I don't really like getting wet on rides too much,
right?
So yeah, I'll be curious how the wait times look. Come August, September. I kind of feel like they're going to be what Splash Mountain used to be just all the time eventually. Just going to settle back down into just what it has always been.
I mean, I remember Splash during the summer. I mean, it would still get up into the 90 minutes.
Oh, for sure it could. Yeah.
So,
that's what I'm saying. The summer months for sure. But once it gets, in the cooler months, it's probably, sometimes that would be just a complete walk on.
Oh, yeah. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
So they did announce a lot of previews happening basically throughout almost the entire month of June. So first of all, annual pass holder previews are going to be June 13th, 14th, 17th, 18th, and 20th. They are going to be using a virtual queue there as well. They did put out an email saying how to do this. You have to have a park reservation for the 7 a.m. drop. Those days are now sold out for Magic Kingdom. The 28th is also sold out for Magic Kingdom. So if you do want to do this, you can still, if you're a pass holder, you can still make a park reservation for other park, and then you can hop over to Magic Kingdom by that 1 p.m. drop and grab your lightning lane or grab your virtual queue.
This is an interesting way to do it. They've never done it this way. They've always had reservations that you would get, but then again, it was always a mess. I'm wondering if they're just trying to limit, because there was always people complaining about, like, and even people in our group were saying they didn't get the email about how this was going to go, and the park reservations are already gone.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're just avoiding, inevitably, there would always, the links would go out on social media before many people would get the email, and then people would say, I didn't even get a chance, and they're already gone.
Yeah.
You're never going to make all the APs happy, but maybe they're just thinking this is more fair, I suppose, to have a virtual queue the day of. But again, it's another virtual queue you got to try for, and then so the thing about the virtual queues, though, is I've always just thought I don't like about them is you cannot plan your day.
Right. I mean, you can't play until 7 a.m.
Well, yeah, and it's like either you're going to be like first thing in the morning, or if you get later, it's going to be the evening. So it's like, I don't think a lot of people like that aspect of their vacation being that way. Now, granted, for annual pass holders, maybe a little bit different here, but in general, I think that's the biggest limitation on virtual queues versus how it used to be.
Well, there's some people that if you read the, fine print, it doesn't say you can only do this once. It says you can join the virtual queue once a day.
Right.
So there are some people that made park reservations for every, like if they're locals, every day during these previews, and they're probably going to try to write it as much as they can. In that respect,
I tried to treat you all as adults, but obviously I am the only adult here.
Okay. Obviously, I don't know if I like that. I think maybe just once for a preview would be good, but that's neither here nor there. So, DVC members can also pre-register to preview the attraction on June 12th between 1 and 4 p.m. or June 19th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And they have to do registration the old-fashioned way for that. So I don't know why they're...
That's the thing that makes me get one way for DVC, one way for APs. Like, it just seems very disjointed.
I'm just like, okay, what's better? Cast members will have a special preview. Magic Kingdom cast members will have a special preview day on June 2nd. This is technically the first previews that will be for those Magic Kingdom cast members. The remaining Walt Disney World cast members, or Florida cast members as they call them, will preview the attraction June 3rd through 7th. And then there are some D23 events on June 22nd. There's one at Disney Springs, and there's one at Magic Kingdom. But I'll put all that information in the show notes. So lots of previews. Lots of previews for a theme over attraction.
Yes. Well, they're going to make a big deal about this because this, like I've been saying for a while, this is, after this opens, there's nothing else coming that has been announced.
The docket looks pretty
so
pretty
they're gonna make a big deal. I will be genuinely curious how, the Disney crowd itself, I think a lot of people it's mixed. I think it's pretty mixed. You have some people that like loved Splash Mountain and are mad about this, and some people that are the opposite. They probably rode Splash Mountain, they want to act like they hated it, and now they love it. I don't know. Either way, I'll be curious to see how this goes with people and what it'll look like. I really do think eventually it's just going to settle back into I think most people will call it Splash. That'll be the funny thing too, is like, what do people end up calling this? Like, in the park. I think a lot of people are just going to call it Splash just because that's what it was. I
mean, I probably will, just because, I still call it MGM sometimes. Yeah. It's Hollywood Studios, and it's been that way for a while. So yeah, I probably will, just out of habit. Yeah.
But then it leads to, one would assume at D23 this year that they have some, one would assume at least a few announcements coming. But so.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to do it on June 20th or June 13th, the preview then, because we already planned on being there anyway. So hopefully we'll get a virtual queue and all that stuff.
Where's your excitement, anticipation level for this? Is it high? Are you glad how are you looking at it?
So I'm excited to have a new type of, like, I'd say new, like newer-ish attraction. I liked Splash, so giving that up for this, I hope this like lives up to my expectations, I guess. I mean, I guess you say that with anything. But I mean, I'm hoping it'll be beautiful and the music will be great, the animatronics will be great. So, it doesn't match my excitement that I had for Cosmic Rewind.
Right.
Because again, brand new attraction, a thrilling roller coaster. This I've already rode. It was zippity doo dah instead of almost there. So anyway,
Right.
I guess it's like a mid excitement, like not super, not at all.
I kind of
just
feel like
mid.
that's where most people are at. It's just very mid. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I never saw Splash Mountain was, I guess, loosely based on Song of the South. I never saw that movie.
I didn't either.
I have not seen Tiana. So both of these I don't know the movie reference off of. I'm aware of Tiana.
Yeah.
So either way, I hope the animatronics are nice, but I can't say like, I mean, I'll be honest, if the virtual queue that day, other than we wouldn't be able to talk about the ride on the show, personally speaking, I would just be like, oh, okay. Like I liked Splash, but I wasn't like again, I'm not a big I don't like huge drops, not a huge drop, but I'm not like a big like water ride person to begin with. So
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of being
that.
able to talk about it on here and give our thoughts, sure, but
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know, I agree. I think something like a Guardians, Cosmic Rewind, or when Rise of the Resistance open, things like that. I think there's way more anticipation for those versus this. So I'm actually way more curious about the drone show they're doing at Disney Springs, if I'm being honest.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, that's supposed to debut. I think it's during Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I'm
so.
curious as to how, like, if it's going to be a big show, if it's just kind of be a little like, have they said, they haven't released really any details, have they?
The only thing I've seen is they're putting in the sensors or cameras or something on the lawn, setting up for that. So that's all I've seen.
Yeah. Because I think drone shows are going to become much more of a common thing in theme parks. So I am very curious as to if they're just doing a little bit like 5-minute little thing, 10-minute little thing.
Oh, I don't know how long it is. I have no idea.
I know. Because if you look at over like Universal and some other places, they're doing some pretty elaborate ones. So yeah. And if it goes well, does it make its way into like Animal Kingdom?
I don't know. That'll be interesting. Yeah, if they use it.
I guess Epcot it would work if it's over water because they're not going to do it over people.
You can't do it over people.
So I mean, Epcot would make a lot of sense. Animal Kingdom would make sense.
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios, not really. I don't know how you would do it there.
Yeah, you could do it over Rivers of Light Theater.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe those two, but I don't see Hollywood Studios. But
Anyway.
All right. Well, that's hopefully if you want to ride Tiana's, if you didn't get a park reservation, you can always hop over and try your
if you're
luck.
an AP, yes.
Yes, if you're an AP, you can play the virtual queue bingo or lottery.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go to lottery.
Otherwise, if you go during open day, just be ready to. If you don't get that virtual queue, you have someone else buying a Genie Plus. That's all I gotta say.
True. It's very true.